Boeing is facing higher level of criticism. The aviation company finds itself in the public eye for unfavorable reasons after a number of incidents happen in just a single year, from emergency landing of Alaska Airlines to tragic crash of Juju Air Flight or belly landing of FedEx 6238. This raises a question. Do these occurrences indicate an issue within Boeing? Or bad luck was on its peak, or it may be a human silly mistake, but world had witnessed its most devastating incidents of Boeing that shake up the aviation industry. The year 2024 just started, and Boeing faced its first incident. Alaska Airlines. On January 5th, 2024, Alaska Airlines 7282 Boeing 737 MAX 9 departed from the Portland International Airport just after a few minutes when the flight reached 16,000-foot cabin crew heard a big bang. Suddenly, the aircraft feels a decompression, and its mid-left plug door, which was an unused emergency exit, detached from the fuselage, and items start drowning out through the opening as the oxygen mask dropped from the ceiling. Flight attendant helped the passenger to move from the breach. Pilot communicate with the air traffic control for an emergency landing and decide to return back the aircraft to the Portland airport. 7 passengers and 1 crew member got minor injuries, according to Alaska Airlines. After this incident, Alaska Airlines grounded all aircraft of Boeing 737 MAX 9 for inspection. Just after this incident, another major incident happened in FedEx Flight 6238, Boeing 767-300 freighter, upon reaching its final destination, Istanbul, as the aircraft ready to decline its altitude emergency alert system start giving warning signs about unsafe nose gear position at approximately 1,800 feet. The pilot decided to ascend the aircraft and go through the emergency checklist, but there was only one option left, that was crash landing. Skillfully, pilot attempted the hard landing on runway. As the nose touched the ground, smoke started appearing as emergency team were on standby, but not needed as everyone emerged out of craft safely. After the belly landing of FedEx 6283, Singapore Airlines faced the entirely different crisis in Singapore Airlines. On May 21, 2024, an aircraft of Singapore Airlines Boeing 777 flew from London to Singapore. While flying over from southern Myanmar, the craft experienced severe turbulence due to stormy weather. Pilot had to shift quickly plane from autopilot mode to manual and lower the altitude of craft up to 37,000 feet. Suddenly, that almost few items floats in air, and passengers whose seatbelt were not properly fixed got severe injuries. More than 100 passengers were injured, and 1 was dead due to fatal heart attack. So pilot had to land the aircraft to Suvarnabhumi International Airport, Bangkok. Just after a month of this turbulence incident, the Korean airline faced pressurization fault. On June 22nd, 2024, Korean aircraft 189 takeoff from Incheon International Airport, and just after 30 minutes of its journey flying over from Jeju Island, crew recognized the pressurization fault. Soon after this, pilot declined the plane to the lower altitude oxygen mask were dangling from the ceiling, and passenger were suffering from the sudden change of pressure and struggling to calm themselves. Then the pilot decided to navigate the aircraft to the departed airport. 17 passengers were feeling ear pain, but with medical help were then feeling better. It could be life-threatening because pressure can cause severe ear damage. After a few weeks, another severe incident happened, which actually shake up the aviation company. Atlas Airline. On August 18th, 2024, Atlas Air's 747 freighter took off from Miami en route to Puerto Rico, anticipating a routine flight. However, moments after departure, a loud bang emanated from the left inboard engine, followed by an explosion that illuminated the night sky. The crew promptly declared a mayday and activated emergency procedures, shutting down the affected engine and deploying a fire suppression system. Although the fire warning ceased, the damage had already occurred. The pilots skillfully maneuvered the aircraft back to Miami International Airport. Despite the loss of 1 engine, the remaining 3 engines generated sufficient thrust to maintain control, allowing the crew to execute a safe landing on runway 09. Southwest Airlines. Unexpected challenge arose this time involving Southwest Airlines Flight 737 MAX, where the crew member faced an entirely different issue departed from Phoenix to Oakland when without. Warning, the plane began to shake violently and experienced a rare aerodynamic phenomenon called a Dutch roll, a combined oscillating movement involving from side to side and rolling over the wings. Aircraft have a damper system which helped to stabilize, but at moment damper also malfunctioned and caused to intensify the oscillation, but the pilot continued its journey to Oakland once grounded FAA, and Boeing further investigate to identify the root cause of damper Y failure. Total cargo flight 5682 on November 9, 2024, total cargo flight 5682 Boeing 737-400 was en route from Victoria to S. Paulo's, was International Airport mid-flight. The crew received a concerning notification of fire had ignited in the cargo. Declaring an emergency, the pilots began their descent toward the airport, hoping to reach the runway before the situation worsened, however, as the aircraft neared. Fire was intensified, but soon after its landing, the emergency team handled the situation carefully. Jeju Air. On December 29th, a Jeju Air Boeing 737 crashed at Muin International Airport. It's the deadliest air crash accident in history of South Korea. The flight was uneventful until the final approach. Just before landing, air traffic control warned about the possibility of a bird strike. After receiving the warning, the crew declared a mayday likely due to a bird strike. They then initiated a go-round as the crew retracted the flaps and landing gear and requested to land in the opposite direction. This likely indicated the situation's urgency to land as quickly as possible, but they tried to land on runway 1, but due to its nose and upper direction create high speed during landing and just strike and crashed to a concrete structure. 176 passengers lost their precious life. 4 out of 6 crew members were dead on the spot. 2 were being rescued from the fuselage of the craft as they were sitting on the rear seats of crafts and later on sent to hospital for further medical assistance. FAA and Boeing are assisting together to create policies to avoid such crashes. Boeing incidents is not always a manufacturer's fault. Sometimes it's a bad luck or it's because of nature which we cannot control and are helpless, but our empathies are with those whose life lost during their journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends.